Before we start, I do want to apologize for the heater sound. It is very cold where I am, and so I do apologize, but I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hello, welcome back to Channel Claire. How are you guys doing today? I hope that you're doing well. Now, as you see by the title, this is another Sherri Papini case video. I have found the affidavit online. It was filed 3/3/22, so a few days ago, because it's the 8th now, so like 5 days ago. And we're just gonna go over some interesting bits, okay? Because this is 55 pages in total. I'm not gonna read you guys 55 pages, nobody wants that. But we're just gonna go over like the summary part, because that's where like the meat of this shit is. And we're gonna go from there, because I find this shit very interesting, and I've never really read an affidavit like for myself. I watched videos on it and stuff like that, but like to actually read it for myself and like see how it's done is just, it's pretty cool. So I have it up on my computer. See it here. That's the affidavit. Not making it up. Anyway, so it starts: United States of America versus Sherri Papini, defendant. Okay. I, the complainant in this case, state that the following is true to the best of my knowledge and belief on or about the dates of August 7, 2017 and August 13, 2020 in the county of Shasta in the Eastern District of California. The defendant violated false statements and mail fraud. Okay, so that's the offense description. False statements and mail fraud. Sherri Papini is a fraud for faking her kidnapping, okay? It continues, it has a whole bunch of signatures from like FBI special agent, like all this shit, lawyers, addresses, and all that shit. So, it says, introduction and agent background. It kind of gives you a background on who the agent is. This affidavit is made in support of a criminal complaint and arrest warrant for Sherri Papini for making false statements to a federal law enforcement officer in violation of Title 18 United States Code 1001A2 and engaging in mail fraud in violation of Title 18 United States Code 1341. I'm a special agent with the Federal Bureau of Investigation and have been so employed since August 2010. Currently, I'm assigned to the Sacramento Division, and I work out of the Reading Resident Agency. My training has included attending the FBI Academy's Basic Agent Training, where I received instructions on various aspects of federal investigations. As far as my official duties, I investigate cases involving kidnapping, false statements, and fraud. So, his official duties are right in here with what Sherri Papini has done. Alright, it says here, the facts set forth in this affidavit are based upon my personal observations, my training and experience, and information obtained from various law enforcement personnel and witnesses. This affidavit is intended to show merely that there is sufficient probable cause for the requested complaint and arrest warrant does and not support of set forth with all my knowledge of investigating this matter. Let me read that again. This affidavit is intended to show merely that there is probable cause for the requested complaint and arrest warrant and does not purport to set forth all my knowledge of this investigation into this matter. Okay, so like basically this is just like a summary of why the fuck we need to arrest this bitch and why we can get this arrest warrant and get this shit going. It's not all the information we know, but here's a good summary. Alright, so summary of probable case cause. This is where the meat is. So it says, in November 2016, Papini, meaning Sherri, went missing for several weeks, and law enforcement conducted a sorry, they're like honking out there. In November, oh my goodness. In November 2016, Papini went missing for several weeks, and law enforcement conducted a nationwide search for her. When she returned, she told federal law enforcement officers and others that she had been abducted by 2 Hispanic women. I wonder why she chose Hispanic women. Papini also provided details of the alleged Hispanic women to an FBI sketch artist and sent text messages to FBI agents about instruments the Hispanic women used to inflict injuries on Papini. However, this was a false narrative Papini fabricated. In truth, Papini was staying with a former ex-boyfriend, and harmed herself to support her false statements. So she did all this shit, claimed it was 2 Hispanic women, which, you know, created all types of racial discord, you know, within communities. When you're trying to say, oh, it was 2 Hispanic women, everybody's gonna be on the lookout for, like, a certain fucking race, and you blatantly lied. You then put these injuries onto yourself. You did this to yourself. And the injuries that she was found when she was discovered by that Allison lady on the side of the road were pretty severe from the way that she described it. And Allison herself said that she didn't feel that there was any reason why Sherri Papini would be lying, or why anybody would feel like this is something that's made up or not true. And now I wonder where the fuck Allison is, because I'm sure she's like in utter and complete shock, seeing now this woman did this to herself. She did this to herself, went out on the road, acted all crazy and distressed. Can you imagine the mind frame one would have to be in to do some shit like that? Like, to go through all of that, harm yourself to that point, go out and act like you're all distressed, like you were like, she had like bandings around her arms, her neck, bruising all over, her hair was cut. She did all of this to fake a kidnapping. To get away from what? That's what I really want to know. So it continues. Ex-boyfriend told investigators that Papini stayed with him at his house during the dates of her disappearance, and that it was Papini who reached out to him and asked him to come pick her up in Reading. DNA evidence recovered from Papini's clothing she was wearing when she returned matched the ex-boyfriend's DNA. So I remember that, like, when I was watching Kendall's video, like when she was like having her body examined and stuff, they found women's DNA and they found a male's DNA, and she was abducted by 2 females. So already then, back then, when it first happened, that shit was sketchy. Where was I? Phone records show that Papini and ex-boyfriend were talking to one another as early as December 2015. The ex-boyfriend told investigators that he and Papini used prepaid phones to talk to one another. So all of this is like pre-planned. This bitch is sneaky. Like sneaky, all doing this behind her husband's back. She's sneaky as fuck. They would use prepaid phones to communicate with each other. This was corroborated through evidence of 2 prepaid cellular phones that were tied to the ex-boyfriend and would communicate with each other. One from Papini's location and the other from the ex-boyfriend's location. Historical cell site analysis and toll records of the prepaid phones indicate that ex-boyfriend traveled to Reading on or about the date of Papini's disappearance. Papini and the ex-boyfriend exchanged text messages the morning Papini disappeared. So she got up in the morning, her husband's gone to work, her kids are going to school. She even called her husband like, oh baby, are you gonna like come home from work and like have lunch with me? He said no. She like planned this whole fucking thing. But I wonder if her husband, I think his name is Keith, would have said yes, I'm coming home, if that would have like changed her plans, if she would have done it later in the day and went on her run, or if she would have tried another day or what. But this girl, like, it's all pre-planned, and this shit is wild. The fact that somebody would just sit and want to do this to another human being, and maybe she wasn't even thinking about her family at all, and she just wanted out, but ultimately she damaged and traumatized her husband and children, thinking that she was missing, thinking she was gone, had them going on fucking searches and shit. Wild. So it continues. Okay. Papini and ex-boyfriend exchanged text messages the morning Papini disappeared. They met around the location where Papini was last seen, and Papini and ex-boyfriend traveled to Southern California together. The ex-boyfriend's cousin told investigators that they saw Papini's ex-boyfriend and her in the apartment together on 2 different occasions, both times unrestrained. The ex-boyfriend also told investigators that approximately 3 weeks later, he had a friend rent a car from him, and then the ex-boyfriend drove Papini back to Northern California, which was corroborated by a rental car records and odometer reading on the rental car. So when she was done doing whatever the fuck it was that she was doing here with her ex-boyfriend for like 22 days, making injuries, making these plans, at some point she decided she wanted to go back. It doesn't say why. It doesn't say like what happened to make her want to go back, because if you did all of this to leave, why would you not just stay gone? Like, did she get conscious all of a sudden? Like, what happened? So it says, when Papini was interviewed by a federal agent in August 2020, so like almost like 2 years ago, she was warned that it was a crime to lie to federal agents and confronted with evidence that she was not abducted, but instead arranged to have an ex-boyfriend pick her up and take her to his home. Papini then, at that time, like 2 years ago, still did not retract her kidnapping story and instead continued to make false statements about her abductors and denied her ex-boyfriend's involvement. In addition, Papini caused the California Victims' Compensation Board to pay over $30,000 in fraudulent victim assistance money based on her false kidnapping story, including reimbursement for therapy sessions, blinds, and ambulance services. At least one of these reimbursements was via the U.S. mail. So I guess that's where like the mail fraud comes in. But this bitch was even warned. She was given a chance to fucking say, hey, look, bitch, we have this evidence that you're fucking lying. Do you want to like tell us something? You want to kind of change your story? Like 2 years ago, she had a chance. Now, she probably would have still been charged of shit, but she had a chance to come out with it on her own and say, you know, maybe try to make things right, make herself look better. She had a chance. They gave her that chance. They don't give people that chance typically. And she still tried to stick to her story. Still. It's wild. It's wild, wild, wild. At approximately 5:50 p.m. on November 2nd, 2016, Papini's then husband reported his wife Papini missing from their home. Papini was a 34-year-old mother of their 2 children who lived in the Mountain Gate area of Shasta County near Redding, California, in the District of Eastern California. The husband told Shasta County Sheriff's Office deputies that when he arrived home from work, he was unable to locate Papini or their 2 children. The husband learned that the children had not been picked up from daycare as was customary. The husband checked on his Find My iPhone app and was able to locate Papini's phone near Sunrise Drive in Redding, California. He went to the location, retrieved the phone. Papini was last seen running on Sunrise Drive and was believed to have gone missing between the hours of 10 a.m. and 12. So I guess she went on her run, and she was like, okay, this seems like a good spot for me to be. Now, mind you, they found her phone and like headphones and like pieces of her hair like found like on the ground by this mailbox. So she's like running. She's like, okay, this is a good spot. Let me take all this shit off, grab some pieces of hair, put it together, and throw it down. Like, you planned all of this, Sherri? Like, why do people do the things that they do? Like, I really, I can't wrap my head around this one. Like, I can't wrap my head around a lot, but I really can't wrap my head around this one. Like, it makes no sense. You were given a fucking chance. She planned this entire thing. And they had evidence and showed it to her. Like, I wish that there was, like, because I watch a lot of interrogation videos, and I wish that there was, like, a camera and they would release that, because I would love to have seen her reaction. Probably like the Stephanie Lazarus interrogation, if you've ever seen that, when they like said John Ritten's name for the first time. I think that's his name, and like you can see her like realizing, okay, I'm fucked, and it's like all in her face and her body language. Like, I wish I could see them telling Papini, look, bitch, we know that you're lying, here's the evidence, you want to change your story, and how the hell she got out of that. So at this point, he said that she's missing, whatever, found the phone, Find My iPhone. Extensive searches were conducted for Papini all over Shasta County, as well as in several states, as the investigation gained worldwide attention. You got people all over the fucking world looking for this lady. Hundreds of tips were submitted to the SCSO and to the FBI. Numerous items of potential evidence were collected from various searches, with none of them leading to Papini's whereabouts. Immediately upon Papini's disappearance, law enforcement sourced the area where Papini appeared to have gone missing. Husband showed SCSO detectives where he found the cell phone and earbuds with blonde hairs entangled in them at the south corner of Sunrise Drive and Old Oregon Trail, about 2 feet off the road. Husband thought the cell phone had been placed, because it looked like it was very, like, not like somebody, like, dropped their phone if they're in struggle. It looked like it had been placed there. Like, so, Sherri, you're fucking dumb. You're trying to make all these fucking plans and shit like this, and you placed your cell phone there. You really didn't think that far. You thought all this other shit. You didn't think about how to place your phone in a struggle if you were so abducted and kidnapped. Like, come on. So, husband thought the cell phone had been placed, which he described as weird. So back then, even when it happened, he felt like it was weird. SCSO detectives also did a walkthrough of the Papini's residence and found nothing out of the ordinary. Papini's purse and jewelry were accounted for, but husband did not know if any unusual banking activity was occurring in Papini's bank accounts. In follow-up interviews, husband stated that him and Papini did not have marital issues, but occasionally fought, as any married couple would. The last fight they had was in October 2016, so a month prior to her disappearing, and this fight was over a messy room. The husband stated Papini could get loud when she was angry and knew how to push her husband's buttons. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. So what's like going on with all, like, it's long, you guys. Like, it's very, very long. And this video is at 15, so I'm going to read a little bit more just because I'm interested. So, and it goes by date and it gives times and everything. It's really cool, actually. So then it says, an analysis of Papini's cell phone. And this is the thing, if you're gonna do a fucking crime, please realize that these cops, like, if you delete shit, they're gonna find it. If you're doing some shady shit, they're gonna find it. Like, you fucking deleting shit is not about to fucking make it seem like you ain't do what the fuck it is that you even do. Like, we know with the whole Jodi Arias case, she thought she deleted pictures. They pulled that shit right back up and threw it at her face in court. Like, that case in itself, it just amazes me. I watched, like, the interrogation videos, and just, I watched so much on Jodi Arias, because it's mind-boggling, these people and the things that they do, and I want to understand the makeup of a mind like that. It's just, ugh. So, an analysis of Papini's cell phone found 2 phone numbers stored under women's names that actually belonged to men. So she was doing that sneaky link shit, putting in a number under, like, Pizza Hut or something else, you know, like you do. You know what I mean. You know. She was doing that sneaky shit. Like, so Sherri really doesn't seem like she is a good person, quite frankly. Just in general, it just doesn't seem like she was a very nice or gracious or loyal or trustworthy person. In a text conversation between Man 1 and Papini on November 1st, 2016, the two discussed the meeting in Reading. Additionally, travel records show Man 1 traveled to San Francisco on October 28, 2016, and flew back to Michigan on November 2nd, 2016, the day of Papini's disappearance. Investigators traveled out of state to interview Man 1 and look for Papini. Papini was not located, and Man 1 told investigators that Papini and Man 1 met approximately 2011 when Papini was out of town for work. The two spent the weekend together and continued to exchange flirtatious messages throughout the years. So she was just whole ass cheating behind Keith's back. So how disrespectful can you be in a relationship? You're whole ass cheating behind your husband's back. You have kids. And then you decide you want to create a fucking kidnap to, like, fuck up your family's life. You're a crazy. It's really sad, and I feel bad for Keith and her children. I really feel bad for them. It's sad. Although they planned to meet during Man 1's trip to California, he returned home without seeing her. Investigators also interviewed Man 2, who described meeting Papini around 2001 on a Friday Night Live youth program and dating her for several years. Man 2 described Papini as an attention-hungry person who told stories to try to get people's attention. Sounds about right. She told the biggest story she could fucking find in the world and got the world's attention. Like, he's spot on. Like, even back then in 2001 when he was dating her, she was doing this shit. And now 20 almost years later, it's found out that she has made up the biggest of stories. Like, I'm sure these people that are connected in this are sitting back and watching like, what the fuck? Ugh, crazy. Man 2 stated that Papini fabricated stories of being the victim of abuse from her family, father, and then Man 2 after the couple broke up. So she said that all these people in her family, her father, and him, abused her. Like abused her, like made that up. So like this is something that she's been doing for forever. Just lying and making up stories and cheating. Like she's been doing this shit forever, and it's so crazy because you can never judge a book by its cover, because you see this like pretty little girl, blonde hair, blue eyes, and she looks just as sweet and innocent as she can be. Whole time, this is who Sherri really is. It's wild. On November 16, 2016, investigators found contacted person 1, the director of Friday Night. Contacted the Friday Night Live youth program who knew Papini from the program. Person 1 stated that Papini was the only student. Oh, okay. So in this youth program, this person said that Papini was the only person he feared having the program because she was good at creating different realities for people so that they would see what she wanted them to see, which really got her good attention. So she was like in this youth program, and she was pretty much putting on a show and acting like she was like some person that she wasn't so that she can get this attention. She was really good at being that center of attention type of person and garnering that attention. There are people that walk in the room that just like people are going to turn, they're going to gravitate toward them. And she was that type of person because she was creating different realities like she's done in this case. It's just wild. It's wild. And this affidavit basically gives everything of why the fuck it is that they know that she made this all up. And I'm still waiting for Sherri Papini's fucking mugshot. I need to see. Hold up. Let me look this up. Sherri Papini mugshot. No mugshot. No mugshot. They show the pictures. Oh. So I do see a picture of Sherri Papini, and I'm going to actually put this picture at the end of this video so you guys can enjoy Sherri Papini's mugshot as well. But this was just part 1 of the affidavit. I'm really looking forward to getting into this and continuing more into this juicy details, because I feel like I'm reading like a fucking reality show. Like this is like not real life, but it is real life. Excuse me. But thank you guys so much. If you've gotten to this point of the video, think about liking, think about subscribing. It would really make my day. I will see you guys in another video, but for now, bye bye.